said you've been doing this. I mean, you've been in dance film world longer than that, but the festival itself has been around for 6 or 7 years.
Hmm.
How have you seen dance film change in those years?
Um, I don't know that I've seen it change. I
Yeah.
feel like what I've seen is the world's relationship to screen dance change.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I feel like it has always had an international footprint. People have always been doing amazing work all over the world. I can't even name countries. We're really lucky. Our film festival features films from last year was like 23 countries. So I think that screen dance as a genre and sort of as a mode of production for filmic and choreographic artists hasn't changed that much. It's
Hmm.
the world's relationship to it. I think people have discovered it,
Hmm.
and as I said, as a function of the pandemic, we all have noticed how many it was the mode of delivery for dance,
Right.
and a lot of people didn't realize that what they were making with their phones and their body was screen dance.
Right.
What I mean. That's what I mean. That's what I think has changed.
Right. And do you think, I mean, outside of just volume of submissions, do you think that the pandemic has changed the kind of work that people are submitting?
Oh God, yes. Absolutely. The content has changed. And I think it's changed because we know that art is a reflection of culture, right? It moves culture forward. So it makes sense that the content would reflect where we have been in the last 18 months. So
Hmm.
yes, lots of dances that speak to isolation, speak to the pandemic, speak to issues of race. I would say that, in terms of issues of race, one of the sub themes of our festival has always been, that we've really been interested in issues of race, place, and identity, and really encouraging artists of color, BIPOC artists, to submit their work. We often provide waivers because we're really interested in getting disenfranchised communities both in front of and behind the camera, having those stories be told. I found that this year a lot more. I
Hmm.
mean, without, like, that's always part of our call, but I want to say those, the content of those submissions probably doubled this
Wow.
year. Yeah, but lots of pandemic dances, lots of um, lots of dances sort of looking at community as well, because
Mm,
people have been asking questions about community, what community looks like in
right.
isolation, and how people have been trying to reinvent the notion of community in new and meaningful ways. Lots of films about that as well.
Yeah. You were saying that you always sort of make a special call to make sure that the submissions that you're getting and the stuff that you're producing or presenting really represents many voices and many communities. I know that's a conversation that's sort of ongoing in concert dance, just in
Hmm.
general too. Do you find that the dynamics are different in screen dance? Like, is it um, is it basically the same conversation because there's still so many of the same issues of access and equity in terms of um, artists having what they need to make work and the resources to get it out there, or is there something different about film dance that is more accessible?
I do. I mean, I think that there's a two thread kind of response I could have. I would say, what in some ways, yes, it's the same in terms of access,
Hmm.
in terms of resources, right? In
Hmm.
terms of making sure, and that's both here and abroad. It's sort of, artists of color struggle to have the resources to make work, but also the resources to submit work to have it be visible so that they can make more work, whether
Right.
it's through a festival with an award, monetary awards associated. Most festivals have submission fees. So, and then being able to make the quality of work that kind of supports their vision. So I think that in that way, the conversation is very similar. So they, even if they're making work on the, I mean, you can make beautiful work on your iPhone.
Mhm.
Really, Filmic Pro, you can get, really great quality. But what you can do with that, and do you have access to dancers and locations and costuming? Like, it's very similar to me. So I think the same kinds of conversations are happening, and the same kind of issues are kind of bubbling up to the surface. But I think people are beginning to, because the conversations are being had, I think people are starting to do some of the work.